Singapore method, and that's basically like a model drawing kind of visual representation of word problems. And so here we have a problem that says Andre ate 3 carrots for lunch and 5 carrots for dinner. How many carrots did he eat? Okay. The first step we do in this 4-step process is we like to highlight the main idea. What is the question asking? So we teach the children to start at the question mark and go back, back, back until you see the next period. And in that question, you'll find what the problem is asking you for. So that's kind of where we get our main idea from. From there, we teach the children to read that question and pull out the important words that are going to help them solve the problem. We teach them at how many. It's telling them that they're going to be looking for a number answer. Their answer is going to be a number instead of a phrase. And we are looking for carrots, so we would circle carrots as an important word. And then did he eat? Those aren't really words that are going to help us find an answer. They're kind of support words for the question. And then we have the question. The first part of the 4th step, and you can see we all have these posters in our classroom. It is the main idea. What's the question asking you? It's kind of like when they're reading and they have to find the main idea of the reading passage. This is the same idea. So we are looking for a number of carrots. And we let them abbreviate that because sometimes the writing can take a really long time and it's time consuming. But for here, I'll go ahead and write it out. And I'm going to reorient the board because it's not, sorry. It's throwing us off a little bit.
And just a heads up tonight, my smart board's been working. We were saying great all day, but we deal with, like in anybody's job, you know, those computer difficulties every now and then, so we may reorient in between tonight because it's getting hard.
And then we always teach them to put the question there because this is the question that they're asking. Okay. From there, we talk about, we go back to the story, and we really want to visualize this as a story. So when the children are reading the question, or we are reading it with them, we teach them to focus on different parts of the story. We tell them to make a movie in their head of the story so they can really see what it's saying. And we talk about a who and a what all the time. And so we have a who here. It's Andre. And Andre ate 3 carrots. So carrots are our what. And we label those with a little person to show that that's our who, and a W for what, okay? So Andre ate 3 carrots. When we see a word that's, a number that's in word form, we like to change it to the standard form. That way they can see that a little bit easier. Down in this section here, it's called the details, and that's where we draw our model, okay? So in this section here, we have our who, a what, and then we draw a unit bar. This is giving them that visual representation of what the numbers are. It's giving them that concrete part. And then we just read the first part and we make our unit. So Andre is our who, the what are carrots, C for carrots, and he ate 3 of them. So they draw 3 little cubes here, and we label them with a 3. Sorry if that's a little messy. And then after we draw that first part, we go back to the story again and we see if we need to adjust anything. So we talked about how Andre ate 3 carrots, and now we continue. He ate 3 carrots for lunch and 5 carrots for dinner. So here we have another number and some more of the what. Now the carrots are the same what, and since it's only one thing we're talking about carrots, we're going to continue to build on the carrots unit bar, okay? So we have to build on 5 more. And we bracket those, and we label those. And we count to make sure we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I forgot to do that for 3. We teach them to go back and double check. It's their way because, you know, children are sometimes easily distracted and they might look up at the math wall or look at something. We want them to go back and recheck their work to make sure that part is right. Okay. So Andre ate 3 carrots for lunch, 3, and 5 carrots for dinner, 5. How many did he eat? So we're looking for the total number of carrots. And that's what the question is asking. How many carrots? We're going to be putting them together. So the action here is put together, and our operation is addition. So we show them that when you put things together, often you have two things with an and, we do addition. Okay? So the really nice thing about it, when you label these, your numbers are already there. Okay? So we're going to teach them to put those together. 3 plus 5 equals, and they can find the sum in a couple different ways. Some of them are using fingers, some of them like to use a number line, so they would start at their big number and count on from there. Some of them like to count their boxes, and this is one of the reasons why we make sure they go back and check to make sure they drew 3 and 5. Because a lot of them will like to go back and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to find their sum. Okay? Some will put 5 fingers on their hand and count on 3 more. Some will use a number line. And when you're at home helping them with these problems, if they're not understanding addition and they can't count on their fingers or look at a number line, it's really helpful to just grab some objects that you have at home, cotton balls or, you know, noodles or something, and just role play that with them. You know, give them 3 cotton balls and then give them 5 more cotton balls and let them count it, because sometimes they really need that concrete, tactile practice. So anyway, 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay, and we teach them to use the vocabulary that we teach them. And 8 is called the sum. The answer to an addition question is called the sum. Okay, and then we come over here to talk about how we did it. Okay, I forgot what the saying is, but if you can do something, then you know to do it. But if you can teach someone else how to do it, then that shows that you really have a good understanding. So this how part really lets us know, does the child really understand what they're doing? Or not. So they put into words, or they tell us how they solve that problem. So I like to tell the kids, you know, if I were your little brother and sister, how would you tell me that you did this? And so over here, they're going to say what the action is. This is a put together. And we let them abbreviate that because they know what it is. There's no reason for them to have to write that all out. And then we talk about the words that we used here. Okay, so we can say and we do this in a number of different ways. Sometimes we say we add 3 and 5 to get a sum of 8. Sometimes we say we find the sum of 3 and 5. Okay, so I'm going to say add 3 and 5 to get a sum of 8. Okay, and this is also really important because as they grow from year to year, a lot of their answer choices are going to be just like this. It won't be 8, 6, 3, 9. It will be add 3 and 5 to get a sum of 8, or it'll say add, you know, 3 and 2 to get a sum of 5. It'll say it in words for them. Okay, so they really need to have that experience using the phrasing, the vocabulary. So we do that in a number of different ways. Are there any questions about this part? Okay. PT means put together. We're putting the carrots together.
I do have one.
Yes.
On their homework sheet, are they supposed to show the little person, the W, and the U, or just the answer?
Some teachers don't draw the person in the W and the UB. Some teachers just will write A, C in the unibar. But they really do need to be identifying what the who and what the what is.
As long as they identify that.
In the story.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't have to repeat it down there.
Right, right. But it is very helpful even just to do the A and the C.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of times we'll put this up here just to get them started so they, oh yeah, this is what goes there. Oh yeah, this is what goes there. So they have a complete model. That shows that they're really understanding where they're getting those numbers from.
And Ms. Louder, her question was so perfect because it kind of leads us into the other way. If we're doing a put-together problem and there would be, say, Andre's cookies,
Right.
and then maybe Marie's cookies.
Right. That's what I was...
That she wanted to, because her type of problem tonight,
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure there's no question on this kind.
Yeah.
Okay. There is another form you may see where there are 2 unit bars that are put together. And really quick, is it okay if I erase this? Everybody's good? Okay. So really quick, let's just say that it was Andre ate 3 carrots and, I don't know, 5 potatoes. Okay. So we still have one who, that's Andre. He ate carrots. He ate 3. Okay. Okay, and then we continue on in the story. We still have Andre, there's no other who, but we have a different what. Because we have a different what, those are two separate things, we need two separate unibars. So we have Andre again, and this time he has potatoes, and he has 5 potatoes. Okay, and of course, sorry, I've skipped a step.
And they're going to see it this way more often sometimes than the other way.
Mm-hmm. And since this is still, we're trying to find how many, it would say how many carrots and potatoes did he eat, okay? And so that is a put together, and this is the way they would see that.
Okay.
Many times.
So you're adding the top to the bottom, just like that.
Right, we're adding the carrots and the potatoes. Or if it was two different who's, if it was Andre's carrots and Sally's carrots,
And
you would have
basically-
Andre and Sally.
These little squares, that's taking the place of fingers and counters and stuff, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
You're
yes.
on it.
Exactly right.
And it also
We do try
physically
to get
shows
away
them,
Yeah,
when they draw it
because
out,
he-
We're weaning away from them.
The counters he can use, but at school, there's not always going to be counters there to use, you know? So,
right.
You know, so the boxes, I got you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we use Unifix cubes that look just like these boxes too. It just gives them that visual. And it also does show them that 3 is less than 5. If you can see that 3 bar is shorter than the 5 bar. And when they grow, again in the grade levels, they're going to need to be able to really think about those differences in sizes with the numbers.
So that whole model drawing, like we were all just saying amongst us, that's the importance. It's
Yes.
the visual, and we're weaning them away from counting on their fingers. They can have tactile things at home that you're helping them touch and count those, but seeing those visually and counting those, that's also proving your work. And when they're able to explain that back to you, to a friend, a peer teaching, then we know they caught it. They have truly understood it.
And as they grow too and they get more experience, they're going to be able to visualize those and be able to do mental math a lot easier too. So, you know,
It's a processing.
it's a processing.
It's a
That's
visual,
right.
you turned it visual.
Mhm. And to some parents, I've heard a lot, especially in the upper grade levels, why do they have to do all 4 steps, that kind of thing. It just really gives them a really clear, understanding of what this math is. It's not just numbers that are floating around. They actually mean something, and they're attached to something. You know what I mean? So,
Excuse me.
yes.
At this level for the how, if sometimes I'm just saying PT, but she needs to also have a sentence underneath it as well, or is
That's a really great question. It depends a little bit on the teacher. If you want your child to really understand it and to kind of get them ready for the next grade level, even still, it's good that they're practicing that. If it's too much writing for your child and they're getting really frustrated, they can abbreviate, but I would encourage you not to do it too much because then they're losing that vocabulary and that language exposure. Because the language exposure is going to be really important when the answer choices stop being 3, 9, 5, 6,
And we were
and they
even
start
saying
getting
right
to
before
be.
y'all got here tonight,
Yeah.
that we think it's so important, even the four of us, that we introduce like when we introduced Put Together, when we introduced Take Away a couple weeks ago, that we had them writing out the longer version so that they really could understand the beginning. And then as we felt like they were truly getting it, then we let them start abbreviating a little bit more. Maybe it was PT subtraction
Yes.
for the takeaway. But we wanted them not to be given it such a short version to begin with. We want them to really understand.
And yeah, like she was saying, when they get it and you know they've gotten it, then they can start abbreviating.